So we will start chapter 19. So let's look at the first problem that we are looking at over here. This is the problem on cash management. So we have some basic data on sales, cost of goods sold, accounts receivable, inventory, and accounts payable. And the question is, what is the cash conversion cycle? So what does cash conversion cycle entail? Cash conversion cycle, so triple C, is going to be your inventory days plus receivable days minus payable days. So how many days does it take to convert inventory into sales? How long does it take to collect your accounts receivable? Minus how long does it take you to make good on your accounts payable? So inventory days is going to be, we take inventory, divide that by cost of goods sold, but on a per day basis. So I divide that by 365. So inventory is 15,000. Cost of goods sold is 80,000. Divide that by 365. So that gives us 68.44 days. That means it takes us average of approximately 69 days to clear out our inventory or convert inventory into sales. How long does it take us to collect on our accounts receivable? Same process, accounts receivable would be 30,000, but this time we will, let me write the formula first. It would be accounts receivable divided by sales, but again on a per day basis, so divide that by 365. So accounts receivable is 30,000, sales is 100,000, divided by 365, that gives us 109 days, 9.5 days. And finally, we have accounts payable in days, APD. So accounts payable divided by cost of goods sold again over 365. So accounts payable is 40,000 divided by cost of goods sold, which is 80,000, divided by 365. That would be 182 days. It takes you 182.5 days to make good on your payments, on what you owe. So then our cash conversion cycle, CCC, would be inventory days of 68.44 plus accounts receivable days of 109.5 minus accounts payable days of 182.5, which nets out to 4.56 days. 4.56 days, telling us that it collects cash from its customers 4.56 days before it pays its suppliers. On average, it is able to collect about 4.56 days before it has to pay out to its suppliers. Let's take a look at problem number 6. The first part of the problem, over here again we have a balance sheet. And the first it has a sales of 32 million, cost of goods sold 20 million, that's coming from the income statement. Calculate net working capital for 2013. Net working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets we read off from here, current liabilities we read off from there. 7250 minus 3720. That's 3530. Okay, so that's net working capital. The next part is again about cash conversion cycle. So CCC would be inventory days plus accounts receivable days minus account payable days. So inventory days would be, we take inventory 1300, divide that by cost of goods sold, which is 20,000. This, of course, this is in millions, so it's 1.3 million divided by 20 million. Then, of course, I will divide that by 365 plus accounts receivable days. Accounts receivable is 3950 or 3.95 million on a sales of 32 million, so 32,000 I'll put here, divided by 365 minus accounts payable, which is 1500, again on cost of goods sold of 20,000 divided by 365. So that will give us 23.7 23.7 plus 45.1 minus 27.4. All that adds up to 41.4 days. So the last part of the question is, if accounts receivable is 30 days, that means if this is gone down to 30, what would be the new cash conversion cycle? So it's pretty easy. Instead of 45.1, substitute 30 there. And the new number that you will get is going to be 26.3. So this number would be 26.3. So that's problem number 6. Let's look at problem number 8. Your supplier has offered you 110. That means you get a 1% discount if you pay off in 10 days. What is the effective cost of trade of this credit that you are receiving if you chose to forego the discount and pay it in 45 days? So if you pay within 10 days, you would pay $99 for every $100 worth of good. Pay $99 for $100 worth of goods. Why? Because that's 1% on 10 days. If you wait 40, so this would be 10 days, if you do it in 10 days. If you wait for 45 days, you will pay 100. So your interest effectively is $1. This is $1. Okay. Your $1 out of 99. So effective interest effectively is 1 over 99, which is 1.01%. That's 1.01% for 35 days. 1.01% for 35 days, right? Because you could have paid it in 10 days. Now you're waiting until the last day, which is the 45th day. So it's effectively you're paying a 1% interest over that 35 days. So effective annual rate would be 1 plus 0.0101, right? So 1.01. Raise this to the power. This is 35 days, so I have to annualize it. That means I'm going to raise this to the power 365 over 35. So I'm going to raise that to the power that minus 1. So I can go here. Clear, second clear work, second clear TVM. Okay, so I'm going to clear that. So I'm going to get 1.0101, and I'm going to do y over x, raise that to the power. 365 over 35 is 10.43. 10.43. That's 1.1105 minus 1. That's 11.1105 or 11.05%. So effectively, my foregoing that terms of trade by paying $99 in 10 days and waiting, instead of doing that, I'm waiting until the 45th day to pay 100. Effectively, I have paid an interest of 11.5% on my trade. Take a look at problem number 11. Has a sales of 60 million. Accounts receivable is 2 million. How long does it take to collect on its sales? How long does the firm take? That means we are being asked to calculate accounts receivable days, which we know is accounts receivable divided by sales divided by 365. So accounts receivable is 2 over 60 divided by 365, which would be 12.2. 12.2 days. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Question number 16. This is about inventory days. Again, something we have seen before. You have sales, you have cost of goods sold, and you have inventory. So inventory days would be inventory we're looking at inventory over cost of goods sold over 365. So inventory is 1.2 and cost of goods sold is 7 divided by 365. That will be 62.57. So that completes chapter 19.